Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you another video. All right, fresh off homework of the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets are our team we're going to be seeing tonight, even though we don't have Bron and AD. They decided to sit this one out, as I pretty much thought they would sit out one of these games. At least I thought one would sit one, the other would sit the other, but they decided to both sit the Brooklyn game. A lot of people were saying that they're protesting the last situation that took place with the Lakers, where LeBron James was hacked on the arm by Jason Tatum. It wasn't called down the stretch of regulation, sending the game into overtime, for which the Lakers didn't win. And so we looked at that situation on our channel and held the coach accountable for all the stuff. And we talked a little bit about the refs, but we don't want to give too much credence to the referees, because at the end of the day, despite the situation being as it is, we know that there are going to be a lot of situations that are outside of our control when it comes to the officiating. So here, we don't want to leave ourselves any excuses. If the officials are something else we have to step over, then we just got to step over them. Simple as that. You play around them, you work around them, and you be a professional, and that's it. If they're going to, rig these games, it's going to reflect poorly on them. And at the end of the day, what's seen in the dark will be seen in the light. So we just got to keep it pushing as Lakers, not allow ourselves any excuses to not handle what we control. So that's what we're about on this channel. The referees definitely had their hands in the cookie jar with that game. I'm appalled and disgusted by all of the egregious calls that I've seen all season long. That was just one of them. And we've talked about it enough. You know what I mean? We've talked about it enough. We're frustrated. We want to win. And we feel like our guys deserve an opportunity to get the calls just like everybody else. So the fact that we're not getting those calls, the fact that we're not receiving our respect, it's just one more thing to keep us with a chip on our shoulders, one more thing to motivate us to handle our business and be more competitive and be smarter in being competitive. And that's what it comes down to. We need to be mad enough at what's happening to us to take it out on the other team, man. Straight up. To take it out on the other guys, not on ourselves. And that's what the Lakers tend to do. We tend to take our frustrations out on ourselves, end up initiating our own failures in the name of being upset as things not going our way. Why would you root for yourself to get anything if all you're going to do when things don't go your way is further drive yourself into the same hole you're upset about being in? You definitely want to do things to help yourself. So the Lakers as a team just need to utilize their size. We've obviously made the trade for Rui Hachimura, and we want to see him on the floor getting opportunities to shoot the ball and do the things that he's good at. I don't want him put on very intense defensive assignments and things like that, asking him to play roles that are meant for guys that we have that we just don't use, like Max Christie, on players that have fast feet and are long wingy players. I want him on those assignments. He's our best on-ball defender, not named Patrick Beverley, and he's not as tall as he's taller than Patrick Beverley, so he's more effective in some ways. So I want to see the Lakers use him. Troy Brown is another player that can be used in that way very, very well. I just want to see our coach use the youth and the length that we have, and if it fails, then resort to the stuff that doesn't work as well in Patrick Beverley and the small ball stuff that we ultimately end up going to as our primary threat, which ultimately leaves us at a disadvantage and has us frustrated because we can't beat the teams that are ultimately coming against us, of whom we so desperately want to beat. See, these are the type of things that we talk about all the time, but unfortunately, we also talk about how Darvin Ham is very much married to the idea of continuity. And with that continuity comes an understanding that he's just going to run small ball. So that's what it is. I do expect more Patrick Beverley. Patrick had a nice scoring game these last two games, so I think that that's going to be an encouraging circumstance for him to continue to shoot the ball, for which, as long as he's shooting well, there's nothing to complain about. But for me, I don't want to have to lean on his shooting ability or his scoring ability at all. I don't think that makes us better as a team. I don't think he's a great offensive talent in regards to our team. And if he happens to give us something offensively, we appreciate it. But for us to be seeking out shots for him or featuring him like he's some type of offensive scorer, it's just it's misguided. It's misguided, man. And so that's one of the things that hopefully we can, starting tonight, see some into. But at the same time, again, not expecting it. So as we've mentioned, Austin Reeves is still out with his injury. He said he's feeling better by the day. So I don't know what's going on there. Frustrated, very frustrated about it. But this is week 3 without him. We got Lonnie back in the last game. He was super efficient. I think he ended the game 6 for 8 with a fantastic return, especially on the road. I just thought that we kept him at a minutes restriction, which makes sense. But unfortunately, we needed his efficiency a little more. Could have leaned on him for a bit more, in my humble opinion. AD, we got struggles with AD, man. He looked great in the first game, 4 blocks. In the second game, I don't think it was anything really he could have did or any better or worse. We just made sure that we reverted back to our old ways in regards to not getting him the ball in the second half. And that is something we want to remedy whenever we see him again, probably tomorrow against the Knicks. But, all of those different issues that we had against the Celtics, unfortunately, because we have no stars tonight, none of those things will really be addressed in this game. I think the moral of the story tonight is because the 2 stars are out, this gives us an opportunity to lean on other guys. This gives us an opportunity to put the ball in Russell Westbrook's hands, and I'm not really sure if we're going to be better for that or worse. Don't know. Just don't know. This is one of those situations where you never really know where Russell's head's at. You don't really know. Like, in a game against San Antonio, you would think he would want to play well because maybe he'd actually that might be a team he actually get traded to. Instead, he plays horribly and doesn't even show up. And it's like you just don't really expect much right now until the trade deadline passes and he's either on this team or another. You really can't count on him to be a part of the Lakers. Because as long as he doesn't feel like he's part of the team, he's not going to fake it. So that's really what we're running into. I think our coach is trying to trust him. I think it's one of those touch and go things. If he has it, you go with him. If he's throwing it, you sit him down. And these last couple games, I just don't think he's had it for us. I don't think he wants to be here anymore. And I'm just hoping for a peaceful resolution to this Russell Westbrook era. I'm hoping for something that ends well. Because right now it's been a struggle. It's been ups and downs. And tonight, it's just one of those nights where you really know that he's going to be featured quite a bit. Whether it's on purpose or just by way of the fact that nobody else is down there for him to really defer to. So I expect it's going to be that. If it's going to be that, I'd hope that he's looking to be a passer. Obviously, we need to get worked into what we do. Obviously, we want to try to work Thomas Bryant into what we do. Obviously, tonight going up against the Brooklyn Nets, you need to be aware of Nicholas Claxton. Because if you're going to go into the Barclays Center, that's the big you're going to be looking at. He is playing some fantastic ball. I don't think he's missed a lot at all lately. And he's an offensive rebounder as well as a defensive rebounder on top of it. Shot blocker extraordinaire. One of the best players playing defense in the NBA right now. And this is a total breakout year for him. We talk about most improved players. He's probably my pick for most improved. I can't really think anybody else that's probably more deserving than him at the moment. So that's what you're looking at. And, of course, Killer Kyrie Irving, man. What can I say? That's one of the regular people you hear me talk about on this channel all the time, whether it be for stuff on the court or off the court. Somebody on the prayer list that we talk about here. So clearly we're fans of what he does on the basketball court. But on a night like tonight, when he's coming up against us, nothing would make me more happy than to defeat him. And it's not going to be easy to do because he's playing some of the best basketball of his entire career. He's Mr. Fourth Quarter right now, and he is doing just spectacular stuff each and every night in that quarter as well as throughout the rest of the game for that matter. He's doing all the stuff that we talk about we want to see our team do, closing basketball games, clock management, and stuff like that, hitting clutch buzzer shots and breaking people down in ISO. He's doing all of those things. That's what makes it so cold. And I looked about maybe 5 or 6 highlights of the Brooklyn Nets today. I spent about an hour and a half watching their highlights. And he's a prime example of all the stuff that I want to see our point guards do, unfortunately. Just be smart down the stretch of the games, close out basketball games, be precise in what it is you're doing, and seal victories. And he's been doing that. Even without Kevin Durant, they've been winning some games that you wouldn't expect them to win. They went into Golden State, got a victory, went into Utah. If I'm not mistaken, I think they won that game. They went into Utah. He had like 48 points or something like that. I don't remember if they won that one, but it's one of those situations where he's just really, really playing at a high level right now. The last game they played was against the New York Knicks, where their team dropped like 22 three-point shots out of 40. And that's another thing. Over the last 3 games, they have been hitting over 16 3-point shots a game, shooting over 45% from the three. We need to understand how red hot the Brooklyn Nets are from behind the arc right now. Red hot. Watanabe's hitting his threes. Joe Harris is in shape. Remember we talked about studying Joe Harris's conditioning level? Over the last 3 games, he's been shooting and shooting well. And then Seth Curry's back as well. So you got 2 of the best shooters on the planet on their team. And they're not named Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving. So that's what we need to understand. 3-point shooting is something that they're going to do by default because those are the 2 of the better players they have shooting the ball for them. And, of course, they're going to park it behind the arc and do what it is they do. So that's the thing. Just by sheer default, 3-point shooting is a premium. And if you're not guarding the perimeter against this team, do not show up. Don't even show up. Seriously, don't show up. That's where we're at. They have scored over 122 points over the last 3 games. In fact, they had 130 points over the last 2 games, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it was like 120-something in the game before that. So we must understand how much the Brooklyn Nets are scoring. All of it's coming from basically either behind the arc. Kyrie Irving's jacking up like 27 shots a game, and then Nicholas Claxton is not missing anything. All dunks, all layups, he's hitting them all. So that's what we need to understand, the efficiency level of their shooting right now. Now, they don't really play defense that well. They do have some defensive players like Royce O'Neal, of course, Claxton, as we mentioned. But some of those other guys that they're looking to score, they're not defensive players, and we're going to be able to attack them because of it. It's unfortunate we're not going to have Bron out there because this is a night where he could go for 45 easy because they don't have anybody guarding him. And that's another thing. Like, for me personally, I'd rather him miss the Knicks game. Why? Because Juju, if we can just bypass any time anybody has to bang up against that dude, it's a good thing. That's all I got to say. Anytime you want to avoid dealing with Julius Randle, that's a good thing. I'm telling you, it's a very good thing. And we'll talk about him tomorrow. But for the meantime, it's Kyrie Irving and Nicholas Claxton. That's your attack. And then them 2 shooters down there, that's what's going to do it for you. Royce O'Neal's going to shoot the ball as well, but it comes and goes. Edmund Sumner's a very fast player who can get some things going. Against the Detroit Pistons, he had like 22 points off the bench, so you got to keep an eye on him as well. Deron Sharp is a player, if they play him, he can do some good things for them. A couple games ago, he had about several offensive rebounds. I don't remember how many, but it was eye-opening. Him and Claxton can definitely get second chance points for their team. So, yeah, this is an efficient 3-point shooting team that's got defensive holes in certain parts of their lineup. So we just got to attack them. Guys like Lonnie Walker, Russell Westbrook, I want to see them attack, driving at the basket, getting to the lane, trying to draw fouls as best we can and see if we can get those calls tonight. And, of course, understand that Kyrie Irving is really going to take like 27 shots a game. There was no exaggeration. They don't have KD down there, and the rest of their players, they wouldn't want really shooting more than 10 shots a game at all. So he's going to be the main attack, and you could throw 4 and 5 people at him. He's just going to dance around him and score. So we just got to respect that this is an unguardable force and match his fire by making sure we make him a defender. Obviously, he's not a great defensive player. He's undersized. So what I'm doing is I'm sending Russell Westbrook at him repeatedly, and I'm trying to get him in foul trouble. And we're going to take advantage of the fact that's the side of the ball that he's not going to be able to dominate us. So that's what I got to say, man, in regards to Kyrie Irving. If you're not turning him into a defender, he will put you in a blender, and you're going to go home. He has to be in foul trouble if we're going to beat this team tonight. And if he gets in foul trouble, they got nothing. When I say nothing, it's going to be tough. I like Cam Thomas. That's another player we got to pay attention to who's been shooting the ball very well. He had a good game against the Knicks. He's starting to find his rhythm with this team. And so you definitely want to pay attention to him. And, of course, Ben 10. We know Ben Simmons. Is he scoring the ball like crazy? No, he's not really doing it like that. In the Philly game, he had a couple nice hook shots and layups and stuff like that because obviously he was going up against Joel. But where his bread is butter is defensively and, of course, getting others involved. And with those 2 shooters down there, he's able to rack up assists with ease. So we just got to keep an eye on Ben 10 and give him as much space as necessary because you know what he doesn't want to do, and that's shoot the ball. He don't want to score at all, and sometimes it really hurts his team. So what we want to do is try to force him into trying to be a scorer if at all possible. And even if you do force him to score, chances are he probably ain't going to try. So it's going to be a really interesting situation down there. I'm going to play off of him most of the time, and we're going to force him to see if he wants to attempt shots. You know what I mean? We're gonna like that's just what it is with him. Until he's turns into somebody who's confident, you just got to exploit that lack of confidence. So that's what I'm on, man. The Brooklyn Nets are a limited basketball team without Kevin Durant. Kyrie Irving's playing some of the best ball in the world, but it really doesn't matter if he's the only one doing it. And while I said Clark Claxton's playing great, that ain't enough, man. The Lakers should have a nice game with this team. Obviously, down our superstars, it dumbs it down. But if they were to play in this game, they would only have to play in the first half any damn way. That's another reason why I don't understand why they didn't just flex on this game, secure the victory, and then go into a tough Knicks game tomorrow, throw them the other guys, and have that good Knicks team battle out with our other guys while we rest and not have to go up against Juju and Sims and God knows Obi Toppin and Robinson. It's just backwards strategy for the Lakers, man. Backwards. You want to secure the wins you can secure and leave the iffy ones alone. We're doing it absolutely backwards. This is definitely the game we should have had AD and Bron out there. Finish off this little lowly Nets team, secure that win, and leave that iffy Knicks game alone. But nope. We're just going to do it like this. So chances are we're going to struggle with a Nets team that we probably could have beaten real easy if we played LeBron. Then we're going to play Bron and AD tomorrow, probably struggle with a Knicks team any damn way. I know that's what's going to happen. But that's what I'm expecting to see. Because Kyrie ain't going to give us nothing easy. We don't close basketball games to begin with, and he's killing it down the fourth quarter. So you know what we're going to see. It's going to be whatever the score is throughout the third quarter, and then it's going to be him dancing in the fourth. So if we don't have a different mindset about making sure we shut him down, or at least try, in the fourth quarter, expect him to get 25, 20 points in the fourth quarter alone to close you out. While LeBron James and Anthony Davis sitting in street clothes protesting God knows what. It's a backwards strategy, man. And another thing I think they may be protesting is Joe Tsai. Ain't nobody like how Joe Tsai did Kai, so they probably don't want to play on his floor. But for me, it's like, beat him. That's a better way to get him. Beat him. I'm just so competitive, man. I don't understand my team in regards to how they manage themselves, because winning ain't the focus, man. I'm telling you it ain't. It shows. And it's like if we're preserving ourselves to be healthy, if the health ain't leading to wins, it just seems like we're focused on the betterment of everybody's interest as opposed to the team's interest. You see what I'm saying? It's like, let's have fun. Let's manage ourselves to make sure we're happy, as opposed to let's start Patrick Beverley even though we know it doesn't match up properly. Like, these are the type of things we just do to make our heads feel better. But if your heads ain't comforted by the winning, you ain't built like me. That's how I feel, man. You just ain't built like me. I'm comforted by winning. I'll sacrifice all I need to win. And so I think that's what the team should be about, and I don't see that. I see everybody sacrifice so they can stay healthy, so they can get their stats, so that they can have a good opportunity to get a contract next year. It's all types of other stuff that equals winning that doesn't have anything to do with shooting buckets and the buzzer winning, buzzer sounding what you have in the league. So, because of that, I see a much more competitive nature in the Brooklyn Nets and Kyrie Irving. He's taking the spirit of the sport seriously. He's got the Mamba mentality as he's going around displaying his unique talent. You know what I mean? He's basically reminds me of a little Kobe out there as he continues to show us Kobe footwork, as he picks teams apart just like Kobe did, picks his spots just like Kobe does, and shuts you down just like Kobe did. It's exactly what he's doing. He's Kobe right now. He's just going around calmly and zen like Kobe all over the place. Anywhere he goes, Utah, he's going to 50-something almost dang near. When Philly wanted Joel down there, no problem. He's shooting over Joel Embiid. Straight in Joel Embiid's face, a mid-range jumper, outstretched jumping Joel Embiid, and he's just shooting him over his head repeatedly. Like, this dude is in a zone right now. He is in a zone. And so I'm trying to express to everybody how important it is to do everything you can to either, and this is what it comes down to, it's just a philosophy strategy for me. Either you let him go loose and go crazy and let him go for 60, and then with the intention of scoring 130 points, and you'll see who wins the game, which might not be the worst strategy, or you throw a wall at him and try to wear him down and then watch him dance all over that defense as he proceeds to beat us. That way. That's the problem. It's like you put 3 or 4 people on him just like Kobe, gonna dance around him. And he has even better handles than Kobe. We know that. That's Kyrie Irving. So he's going to dance all around him, and he's going to score the ball. And he's going to dance all around him. He's going to lay the ball up. He's going to dance all around him. He's going to get to the line. He's going to make his free throws. So what we need to do is devise a plan and stick to that. I'm not opposed to putting Patrick Beverley on Kyrie Irving. Obviously not. This is the matchup. You put Patrick Beverley on the team so that on a night like this, he can be himself. This is the night. So all the stuff we talk about Patrick, we don't see this, that, and Patrick, this is the night. You got the Kyrie Irving assignment. Because I'm telling you, ain't nobody else going to guard him. You going to put Russell Westbrook on him? You going to put Max Christie on him? None of our defenders are going to be able to take on this assignment, which is another reason why I wanted Braun on the floor. This is just not the matchup to not have Braun on the floor, man. It's not. This is not the matchup to not have AD on the floor when you're going up against Claxton. I don't know. But I do believe this team is lacking in some serious talent. So therefore, we should be able to at least match up with them without our stars. And it shouldn't even be like that. That's so backwards. Man, I'm tired of the strategy of this team, man. I look at the depth chart. They still ain't, they sent back, what's his name? Scottie Pippen got sent back to the G League. Cole Swiley sent back to the G League. And I look at the G League Lakers, and they put up like 140-something points in the last game. All their players going great. Cole scoring, Pippen scoring, McCoy's going nuts. They got this other dude I never heard of who's also going nuts. And I'm just sitting here looking at JTA. I'm sitting here looking at Damian Jones not coming in for like 4 or 5 games at a time. I'm looking at Russell Westbrook jacking the shot off the God knows what, he's just shooting whatever. I'm watching Patrick Beverly trying to be our main scorer like his name Kyrie himself. And I just know we got more talent down there. McCoy is a guy who I want on the floor tonight. If I'm being honest with you, Lakers don't know who he is. As far as our fan base, we don't know who he is. But this dude got all kinds of talent. He's dynamic. He's like a mini Jordan Poole. And he's just running around for the G League like he actually belongs on there or something. It's unbelievable how much more developed mechanics he has than some of the dudes we got running around in there right now. But you'll never know that because the Lakers are just hiding him tucked away. They'll probably release him or something like that, or pull him into our squad in 2025 and be like, oh, where'd this kid come from? Where he was with the G League. Yeah, because BDF 44 told you about him 2 years ago and he should have been on the team then. This is that moment right now. McCoy should be on our squad right now. He should be there right now. Pippen should be on our squad right now. Cole Swider should be on our squad right now. I'm telling you. Our bench is in the G League. That's all I got to say about that. So, at any rate, I want the Los Angeles Lakers to do what they need to do to make our roster make sense. Get rid of all the dead weight, man. We know who they are. Some of them are playing regular minutes. Get them out of here. We're a better team. I promise. We'll be better if they're gone. And we're bringing those guys that I've been saying, maybe bringing some extra pieces if we can, possibly trading some second-round picks for another Rui-type player, and we should be cool. We don't have to trade the farm to get better. We just got to use what we have. And I've been saying that since the summertime. I thought that was the plan. That's why I'm so frustrated. I'm like, we ain't seen Cole yet. We still ain't seen Scottie yet. It's January, and y'all still sitting on players that y'all know can play. While we struggle with a sub-500 record, barely making the playoffs. It's a con, you guys. We know we got better players. They just don't want to use them. So we're gonna watch Kyrie dance on us tonight, man. It's gonna be a sight to see. The Lakers are coming into his building. You think he ain't gonna want to kill us? He's trying to get a bag from either us or Genie. So obviously he's gonna showcase himself. And we ain't got Bron and AD on the floor, so that means he's gonna dance. So enjoy the show. That's what I gotta say. It's gonna be fun to watch. It's unfortunate we're gonna be on the wrong side of it. That's the truth, man. I've been watching his highlights all morning. I'm telling you, this dude's playing some Kobe-like ball on the offensive end. So you just got to do your very best not to allow him to do what it is he's going to do. And try to give Thomas Bryant some minutes tonight to make Claxton a defensive player. He's a great defensive player. So try to make him flex that. Don't allow him to go 11 for 12 on the inside. That's my thing. And since we don't have anybody on the floor that can defend him, make him a defensive player who's fouling someone who's really talented scoring the ball. Thomas Bryant. People say you're the best defender in the game. Prove it. Thomas Bryant ain't missing a week. When we play Thomas Bryant like he's supposed to be played, all he's going to do is 11 for 12, just like Claxton's doing. That's the difference. Claxton's getting the minutes. Thomas is getting all kinds of weird influx of minutes because of the coach and his decision making and his inability to just accept the fact that Thomas can't play no damn defense. Just like he accepted the fact that Patrick Beverly can't score very much, but he's continuing to wait for him to come around, and after 40 games of doing so, he's finally giving us 15 points now. See how that works? If you just lean on something and wait on it long enough, it might actually work out for you. See? It's just what you're leaning on and what you're waiting for. Who's shooting the ball and whether or not you should be allowing them to. You know what I mean? If we're going so hard to get a bunch of buckets in the paint, can they be Thomas Bryant scoring buckets? He's the tallest player. Get him on the inside. That's the easiest way to score, in the inside. Not Patrick Beverly shooting layups and jumpers and three-point shots, all kinds of weird stuff like that. Not Russell Westbrook taking corner jumpers at his leisure because he feels like it. None of that stuff makes us better. Keep it simple, stupid. And we are definitely playing stupid, so we got to keep it simple. Just put the ball in the hands of the people who are bigger and spread the floor. You got Rui Hachimura out there. You got Troy Brown. You got Thomas Bryant. You got Max Christie. You got Lonnie Walker, Wenyen Gabriel. I should never see anyone short on the floor at any given time during the Los Angeles Lakers tenure ever, with the exception of Dennis Schroeder, who's just playing well. We want to play him because he's playing well. But I'm telling you, as a video game player controlling it, man, that depth chart would look so different in real. If I was running things, oh my God. Patrick Beverly, IR. Did not play, coach's decision. I kid you not. Russell Westbrook, if he's playing well, we play him. If he's playing well, we play him. And because he is the way he is, this is the night where if everything is on the up and up, of course he's starting. See, this is another thing that hasn't been discussed. The logic behind him not starting is simply because we don't want him thinking that it's okay to get reacclimated into the starting lineup. Logically, he should be starting when Bron ain't out there, because the only reason why he ain't out there with Bron is because they, in theory, can't space the floor. So when Bron and AD ain't playing, he actually should be starting. But this is what happens when you are this way. It's like, nah, even on days when we want you to start, we can't, because we know you're going to get used to that and it's going to be a problem. And it's like, that's why if someone needs to be managed to that degree, they should not be on a championship win now team. You got to take that piece and put them in a situation where there's a lot more rope for them to do what it is that's necessary. Because for us, we're trying to win. We need him to be able to do exactly what we need him to do and win. Just like everybody else needs to slot into their roles. And if they're not going to slot into their roles, then what can we really do for them other than put them in a position to be even further unhappy as losers? So that's my thing with Russell. I don't know what I'm going to get from him, and I don't trust myself for playing him if I'm coach. Anytime I put him on the floor, I'm wondering if it's ever a good decision. And because of his cachet and the fact that he's some Hall of Fame player, now I'm forced into making what I think may be a bad decision. It's a conundrum that never has to be in place. It should never be in place. So hopefully we're close to getting a trade for him as the deadline approaches. Hopefully we got something brewing. And if so, we can send the brewing somewhere else. Because I'm tired, man. And I'm going to tell you I'm tired until they trade him or until the trade deadline passes. And then we can establish a new plan for him, which I already have in mind. And it's just simply him going back to the drawing board, realizing he's part of the team and giving us what it is we need to get, because he's got his mutual interest wrapped up in us winning after the trade deadline passes. Because then it's about him being able to play for his next contract. So he had better get it right, or this will be his last season. So at that point, you can see him getting back on board. See, just by default, he's going to want to play well. But till the trade deadline, he's giving us the proverbial finger every time we sub him in. And that's kind of how I see it. So, I don't know. I don't really think that we should sub him in at all until that time, to be honest with you. But that's just me, man. I could be totally wrong. He come out there, get triple doubles, be the game-winning player. You know, he's capable of doing amazing things, but I just don't expect that he's going to ever choose to win. He's going to choose a lot of stuff that may help winning, but if winning's on him, you lose. This is what it is. So that's what it comes down to. If there's any chance we can have him and Kyrie Irving swap jerseys tonight, that would be the most ideal thing for me, BDF 44, as you guys know. That's all I ever wanted. Just swap jerseys, bro. That's it. So that's pretty much what I gotta say, man. That is how I want to end this video. Obviously, there's a lot been said about the Brooklyn Nets over the course of this channel's, lifetime. We have mentioned the Brooklyn Nets probably as much as any other team outside the Lakers. But they've done their job. They fired their coach. They've gotten more out of their young players like Sumner and Claxton, Sharp, Thomas. These are the players that I said they needed to make better if they wanted to satisfy me. They've done it. They've made those players better. They traded Royce O'Neal for a pick. Didn't like the trade at all. I thought it was awful, still do. But they gotten the most out of him, so for what they wanted, they seem to be pleased. So far, so good. The Patty Mills contract is awful. They need to get that off their books. I will not come off of that at all. That needs to come off their books. And I think Ben 10 is going to be fine. I think this is the worst Ben Simmons you'll see. This is the worst version of Ben Simmons you get. He's not in shape yet, but he's getting reacclimated to doing what it is that he does. He's a natural passer, natural defender, natural rebounder. So he's going to get in better shape, and when he does, he's going to show us that he can still play. He's just got to overcome his demons. Simple as that. And what else? What else is that? Yeah, Jacque Vaughn is doing a fantastic job, man. I don't know that he's in the running for Coach of the Year, but he's certainly somebody who needs to be given some consideration for the job that he's doing. Turning this Brooklyn team around, getting something out of all of those players that I mentioned, and more. You know, the way that Watanabe has stepped up and the way that he's playing this year is definitely noteworthy. He's turned into somebody that just isn't on the wrong side of posters, but somebody who's doing some damage from behind the arc and doing some defensive stuff as well. So you just got to respect the Brooklyn Nets. If I'm not mistaken, they block a lot of shots. They block a lot of shots, ladies and gentlemen. That is my understanding of the Brooklyn Nets. They block a lot of shots. So we need to be careful not to attempt shots over guys like Claxton, Royce O'Neal. They're going to block shots. They have the length to do so. Sharp. They're going to do good things. Watanabe blocks shots. So, you know, this team has its strengths. Like I said, without Kevin Durant, they're extremely limited. They don't have a lot of athleticism. You can attack them. You should be able to score on them. They're not going to particularly guard the perimeter very well, stuff like that. Hunting Kyrie Irving is a wise thing. Most teams do it. We should too. So, you know, if he's going to try to defend, we'll see if he can hold up. But I'm sending my strongest people at him, and we're going to put him in the paint. We're going to shoot over his head. We're going to see if it works. But that's me. Our coach is likely going to dumb down the size and give him players his height to dance around. And then sit there with his hands on his hips like there ain't nothing else he can do. That's what I expect to see. So, that's what I got, man. Enjoy the game. It's going to be at 4:30 today in Brooklyn, New York. No superstars tonight, but I do expect to see some good play from some solid young Lakers. And hopefully if we get the size out there, we'll still be able to flex on a team that just isn't more talented than us. They're not. I've been telling people all year the Brooklyn Nets ain't more talented than us. And most people are like, no, they got a stronger bench. No, they don't. No, they do not. We got way more talent in terms of more pieces that are quality. We got more of them. So that's just what we got to do. We got to utilize all of the different pieces that we don't utilize as much. Shout out to Dennis Schroeder, who needs to be given more credit for the defensive way that he's been playing as of late. He's been hounding people even when we're winning or losing. He's been playing good. So I have been extremely pleased with Dennis Schroeder, and he's gotten lost in all the different conversations. He's been playing well. So that's what I want to say there, man. Play Wenyen Gabriel. Play Wenyen Gabriel. You're going to hear a lot of bad energy out of BDF 44 until I see Wenyen Gabriel getting his regular minutes, because Rui Hachimura is not giving me what Wenyen gives me at all. And when Wenyen ain't on the floor, we are lacking a lot of things that make us a team that gets the ball out of the other team's hands. We're just not as good defensively, man. He gets 50-50 balls, loose balls, stuff like that, offensive rebounds. Stuff just tends to fall in your hands when Wenyen's on the floor. And when he's not, no. Simply put, no. Study it. BDL 44. Thank you all for watching.